Alright guys, so in this video, today we are going to rebalance every single brawler in the game. Well, not every single in this video. So here's how it's going to happen. We're going to have 5 parts to this video, alright? And it's going to go from rare brawlers, epic brawl, I'm going to go rare, super rare, epic, mythic and legendary. So I'll rebalance them based on their rarities, alright? So the first part is going to be rare brawlers plus Shelly, because Shelly isn't really like a rare. So we're going to rebalance all the rare brawlers in this video today. And in the next video, we're going to be rebalancing all the super rares, next video epics, next video blah blah blah. And then eventually I'll put them all into one part where you can just watch the full thing. It's going to be an epic video. Alright, so how about we get into the first brawler, which is obviously Shelly. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about something really big with Shelly, alright? And that is the overuse of gadgets, right? First of all, Clay Pigeons has a significant usage over Shade Pigeons, because let's be real, no one likes fast forward. It is a terrible gadget. Let's compare it to like Max's Sneaky Sneakers or Bonnie's Crash Test, right? Those gadgets have like they do have a dash, right? Yeah, they have Shelly's thing, but they also have something additional to it. Like Bonnie's has a knockback and 1000 damage, and Max gives immunity while she dashes. Shelly's is just a simple dash, and that's just terrible. So we need to give something unique to this dash, alright? Something that, like, you know, no other, thing would happen. So what I was thinking is that Shelly is a brawler that needs to get up to her opponent. So the buff I'm going to give to her fast forward is that after using fast forward, Shelly will now get a 20% speed buff for 2.5 seconds after she uses her gadget. So this will make it so that even if you don't go on top of the enemy to like shoot them down and hit the whole thing, you'll still be able to catch up to them and it'll be much better. I think this is a good change for Shelly. So next we have Nita, alright? And Nita also suffers the same problem as Shelly. Nita is a decent brawler in this Brawl Stars meta, but she also suffers something. But instead of gadgets, it's her star powers. You see, Bear With Me is probably is such a terrible star power because, let's be real, Bruce is like so slow, right? Bruce is never even going to get one hit. Like, Bruce will probably get 1 or 2 hits at best, and it's going to be like less healing every time you use your super, because Bruce is just not that terrible. Bruce is like, for Bruce to actually be good, right, you need Hyper Bear, because Bruce actually somewhat becomes a threat because if you have Hyper Bear. So we need to make her Bear With Me star power a little bit more better. So I was thinking of buffing the healing from 1040 to 1200 to make the choices between the 2 star powers pretty much equal. It's definitely not going to change Nita and Heist. She's still going to change Hyper Bear, but maybe in other game modes they'll start to switch to Bear With Me, which could be pretty useful. Alright, so next we have Colt, alright, and I'm going to say this right now, this is the brawler, the first brawler right now on this list, right? The first one to probably be a brawler that I do not want to touch, like not even balance. Colt is just such a balanced brawler if I'm being completely honest, right? He has the damage, you have to have good skill with him, and both his gadgets and star powers are just so equal. And honestly, Colt is used a lot in Power League. Like, you see him in Power League, right? People use him a lot in long range maps. He can be a good last pick if like there's not really any other options. He's really good at like taking out his lane. He's really good on lane. His gadgets and star powers are hard to choose between. You can choose between the scenario or like which one you like playing better. I personally like playing the one that gives extra range more and the reload one, but still they're both like so equal. Like, he has such equal star powers and gadgets. Like, it's so hard to like choose between the choices between both the star powers and gadgets are equal. So I'm gonna say this right now, Colt is balanced. Alright, so next we have Bali, and Bali, I'm gonna give him 2 buffs. Alright, okay, we'll be real, right? Bali is pretty good. Alright, he is pretty good. He has a good damage, but there's one thing that's keeping him bad, and that's no one uses him. Like, everyone forgot about Bali. Bali is like just the most forgotten brawler ever. Like, if they wouldn't name all the rare brawlers, they'd probably miss out on Bali. So we need to make Bali a little bit more recognizable. Something that'll make him like better, but like not OP. So 2 buffs. First up is a health buff from 2400 to 2600. Bali just needs it, to be honest. She's exactly like, Bali's just a weaker version of Willow, right? And like, think about it, right? If you compare Bali to Willow, right? Willow just has so much more better stats than Bali when you compare to Willow. And that's just, so we need to give like something to Bali that like makes it so that like, you know, Bali is somewhat better. So first buff, health buff. I think it would be pretty good. I would even probably buff it to 2800 maybe. Because like, you know, that's exactly what Willow's health is, and like Bali is literally Willow, but like just no mind control. It's like, let's think. Bali is exactly like Willow without a super. So, and Willow also has a better super too, let's be real. Bali's super is so easy to dodge. The next buff I would give though is a buff to his first gadget, from the duration with the slow from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Because 3 seconds is too little, and when an assassin gets closer, right, Bali just needs a way to defend himself from assassins. Willow has a really good way of defending away from assassins with dive. I mean, it's a good buff, I guess, and these two changes I think will make Bali a better brawler, hopefully. And hopefully he doesn't see it as like, guess who's next, guys? Yes, that's right, my boy Poco. Woo! Okay, yeah, we're buffing his damage from 740 to 1000. So that seems pretty balanced, and we're buffing his healing by 100%. I think that's pretty balanced. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I would really want that. So please make a Poco meta back. Like, make Poco extremely broken again, please. Like, we need that. Okay, anyways, let's get serious. When we're talking about on a balancing term, right? But Poco does need a few balances, alright? He's pretty bad as a healer. There's healers like, what's it called? There's healers like Pam and Byron that are just much better than Poco. Poco is just not really used. He did get a buff recently, but I don't think that really helped him. It helped his tuning fork a little bit actually, but not too much. It moved him up like probably a little bit up a tier, I don't know. But yeah, he does need a few buffs. So the first buff I'm going to give him is a health buff. I know, shocking, okay? In my Poco documentary video, if you watched that, right, I said that health buff wouldn't really help Poco, but I'm actually now starting to realize that Poco might need more health. He definitely does. So we're buffing his health from 3,700 back to 4,000. I think that's pretty fair. And we're also buffing his damage, but not back to 800, because we're never going to forget back when he was so OP. Buffing it from 740 to 780. I think this is a fair buff to Poco. Those fair two buffs. But do not say that, oh, you're so biased, they're so OP. They are not OP. I think it's fair. Because Poco isn't that good in the meta right now. You can't disagree with me. If you disagree with me, I will find you. So, Bull. This is probably the biggest one in this video, right? The biggest change I'm going to make to Bull. The biggest change is going towards Bull, and I think you can guess it, right? It's something to do with this gadget. The one I'm using. Yeah. First of all, that gadget needs to be baseline, alright? So, we are making Stomper baseline. So, basically, how it'll work is like, when you use your super, right, there'll be like another button here on your super where you can click it to stop your super early. We're adding it, but there's no slow effect. So, you just stop, but you don't slow the enemies down. Alright? Next, we have Bull's supercharge rate, but to compensate for that, like, nerf. To compensate, like, for, you know, making his super a little bit more broken. We're nerfing his supercharge rate from 10 to 12 projectiles. I think this would make him more balanced. He still has the tank trait. It would make him better still. But, next one, we have to replace that gadget Stomper. It's going to be replaced with Stunning Stomp. Or maybe we can just call it Stomper still. So, I guess we can just keep it the same. So, Stomper will now stop enemy, so now, like, the next super that you stop will stun enemies for 0.5 seconds. Initially, I was going to make this 1 second, but then I just thought back to the time of Fang. Remember Fang's, remember Fang's, gadget 1 second? That was extremely broken. I just thought about that, and I'm like, nah, we're not having that again. So, I was about to do 1 second, but I realized you guys would probably say, second's a little too OP. So, we're nerfing it to 0.5 seconds. It's kind of like Fang's gadget, but this time you can, like, dash to get ahead of it. And we're also buffing his T-Bone Injector, because that gadget is just terrible. From 1,800 to 2,500 healing. This will make, one, the choices between both gadgets much harder. And number two, will make Bull, like, something that was supposed to be in his base kit, that, like, felt right, into his base kit. I think this would make Bull really, really good. I think it would make him probably, like, maybe A tier, decent builder. Could make him SD, because he's already pretty good. But, like, it just had to, I just had to do those changes. Alright, next brawler we have is El Primo, and just like Cold, El Primo is also balanced. And let me explain why. Before, yes, El Primo was not balanced. Before, like, his hypercharges, he was not balanced. But after his hypercharge got released, he became much more balanced. Like, he's a decent A tier brawler. Both his gadgets and star powers were, like, equally as good. There was nothing really that had to change between him. His gears were good. Honestly, Primo was just... It's just so balanced with his hypercharge. He wasn't good without his hypercharge, but when he has a hypercharge, his hypercharge is like, makes him so balanced. Like, he's such a balanced brawler with his hypercharge. He's not OP, he's not like strong like how he was before with 9 hits. Still take 12 hits to charge. His hypercharge rate is really good. I like how they just made it so it's like 3 supers instead of like the original like, you know, 2 supers, like 2.5 supers like they did with Bibi, because like, let's be real, El Primo gets his super really fast, so it was such a good change, and his hypercharge is also really good. So El Primo is the second brawler, I'm gonna say, that is completely balanced. And finally, the last rare brawler for the video is Rosa, and I'm gonna say it right now as well, Rosa is also balanced. Alright, let me explain why. Remember when Kit was OP, right, with that Kit OP strategy, and Rosa got nerfed? Yeah, everyone thought after that Rosa never needed a nerf. The only reason Rosa was like broken was because of Kit. So nerfing her supercharge rate from 3 hits to 4 hits it looked pretty big, but to be honest, that did completely nothing to Rosa. Rosa still kind of remained the same spot as she is now. She went down a little bit, but she remained the same spot. And even her original spot before she was able to take 3 hits with her super was a little bit above average. I might have given her a small nerf, but with this nerf that they gave her to her supercharge, it didn't really do much for her. She gets her super still fast. She just can't chain it as much. She is so much more balanced now. So there we have it. That was my rare brawlers balance changes tier list. Hope you guys like that. I'm gonna put a screenshot of all the balance changes I wanted to do so you guys remember. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Next video will come out very soon where I'm gonna rebalance all the super rare brawlers, and it's gonna be epic.